Welcome into the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Milwaukee Brewers back in action today. First pitch from American Family Field, 12:40 today, as the Brewers gear up for the rubber match game 3 with the Tampa Bay Rays. It'll be Jacob Misiorowski on the bump for Milwaukee, going up against Drew Rasmussen of the Tampa Bay Rays. Happy April Fool's Day, everybody. 12:40 first pitch from American Family Field. Game number 6 on the season. Now looking to close out another series with Tampa Bay. What's the lineup look like on a Wednesday? Lakeland University, experience it your way. Lakeland.edu. First up for the Tampa Bay Rays, the DH today, Yandy Diaz to lead off for Tampa. Jonathan Aranda at first base will bat second. Jake Fraley in right field will bat third. Junior Caminero at third base bats fourth. Cedric Mullins in center field will bat fifth. Nick Fortes is catching. He bats sixth. Chandler Simpson in left field batting seventh today. Ben Williamson is batting eighth, playing shortstop. Richie Palacios rounds things out. He's the second baseman today for the Rays. Now, your Milwaukee Brewers lineup. Bryce Terang to lead things off. He'll play second base. William Contreras is catching, batting second. Christian Yelich is the DH. He bats third. Jake Bauers is at first base, batting fourth. Garrett Mitchell up to the 5 spot. He'll play center field. Sal Frelick in right field will bat sixth. Blake Perkins in left field will bat seventh today. David Hamilton is at third base. He bats eighth. Rounding things out for the crew, batting ninth, shortstop today, Joey Ortiz. Well, hell of a ball game yesterday. We got to see Brandon Woodruff return back to the bump in Milwaukee. The Brewers get back in the win column as well. Time of the game, just 2.5 hours. Game's moving along quite fine with the ABS system, although CB Buckner, yeah, we saw that yesterday. He's behind the plate today, so just get ready for it. You were warned. I'm sure I'm not the first person who's told you. Jacob Misiorowski, remember, coming off his opening day start of 11 strikeouts against the Chicago White Sox. That was the most on opening day in franchise history, looking to have some success in game number 2 going up against Tampa Bay. But before we get into that, if you missed anything from yesterday, let's go over it again. Couple of pitchers in this one returning from injury. Brandon Woodruff on the bump for Milwaukee, going up against Shane McClanahan of the Tampa Bay Rays. Brandon Woodruff greeted with a strikeout to Yandy Diaz to start things in a long fly ball that just went foul. However, couldn't escape it with the second batter of the game with Jonathan Aranda. The Brewers offense dormant through the first 4 innings of this one. No hits in the contest. Shane McClanahan was dealing. However, in the 5th, Gary Sanchez would lead things off with a walk after Jake Bauers would pop out to third base in foul territory. A single from Brandon Lockridge, and Joey Ortiz would draw a 2-out walk. The bases were now loaded, and the guy you want at the plate, Bryce Terang, stepped up.
And that's a base hit to right. 1 runs in. Lockridge coming home to tie the game. He will. Throw goes to second. They've got Terang and a rundown. Terang racing towards second base, and he's tagged out. As the tag was applied, the ball popped loose, but it was on the exchange. They will not count the run at home. And Pat Murphy is going to go out and talk with the second base umpire.
Sure seems impossible to have an exchange when there's 2 outs. There would be no reason to exchange to your throwing hand after that. While Pat Murphy went out there, he talked about it, decided, hey, I'm going to challenge this. I want to see if Bryce Terang would have been safe if they rule that the ball popped out. Here's the result.
After review, the call on the field is overturned. Runner from
So it turned out to be a 3 RBI single for Bryce Terang. That made things 3-2 in favor of the Milwaukee Brewers. Jared Koenig would pitch a scoreless 6, moving to the bottom half of the 6th inning. First two batters of Contreras and Yelich, a fly out and a ground out. Guys, Gary Sanchez signing going to turn out all right for Milwaukee?
Sanchez, way back and way gone. He homered on Sunday, and he homers on Tuesday. That was a bomb.
Fastball up and away. Waited back long enough, barreled it up. Boy, have a night, Sanchez. Couple of walks, couple of runs scored, a homer.
Yeah, have a night, Gary Sanchez. Jake Bauers would reach on an infield single, which was maybe the most viral clip of the day, talking about a line shot to the second baseman. Jake Bauers hustling down the line. Ball would be errant from the second baseman, and Jake Bauers clearly stepping on first base. However, they threw back to first to see if he did. He was ruled out. That was CB Buckner. It went to review again. Very clearly, the definition of stepping on the middle of the base. That's what Jake Bauers did. And CB Buckner goes viral on Twitter for not even looking at the play when it occurred. It was, however, a rule reversed and ruled an infield single for Jake Bauers. He would steal second base. Brandon Lockridge would keep things going in the 6th.
Again, fly ball right center, headed towards the gap, and is in the gap and off the wall. Lockridge delivers again. It's 5-2.
5-2 in favor of the Milwaukee Brewers. After Grant Anderson would come in the 7th, score would remain. Abner Uribe came in, pitched a scoreless 8th inning, and some insurance in the bottom half of the 8th. It was 5-2. Then Jake Bauers stepped up to the plate.
Bauers, a fly ball to right. Fraley back, and it is gone. Insurance for the Brewers on Bauers' second of the year.
Well, he hit 7 of them in spring training. Second one this year. High towering shot. Just out of the reach of Fraley and right.
Angel Serpa would come in the 9th, shut things down. Brewers win 6-2 over the Tampa Bay Rays. Brewers are 4-1 through their first 5 games now. For the third time in the last 4 seasons, Milwaukee improving to 106-59 since 2022 in interleague play. Brandon Woodruff making his season debut and his first start since last September, the 17th, against the Los Angeles Angels. Woodruff, this is the stat right here. 15-1 over his last 25 starts at American Family Field with an ERA of 2.20. The team is 22-3 across those outings from Brandon Woodruff. Bryce Terang, a 5-game hitting streak to start the season. He's batting .400 with a .478 on base percentage right now. Gary Sanchez homer moves him to within 9 homers of having 200 for his big league career as well. And Brandon Lockridge also is hitting .400 during this stretch right now with a 4-game hit streak. Good for him. This is all good stuff here. On the other side, we're going to take a quick break. We'll hear from Brandon Woodruff after the game. Maybe get you a little bit of Jake Bauers sound too, because I got it whenever he does talk. It is the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back to the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers lineup, in case you missed it earlier in the program. Bryce Turang to lead things off. He's at second base. William Contreras is catching, batting second. Christian Yelich is back at the DH spot. He will bat third. Jake Bauers in the cleanup role. He's at first base. Garrett Mitchell in center field will bat fifth. Sal Frelick in right field will bat sixth. Blake Perkins is in left field today. He bats seventh. David Hamilton at third base will bat eighth. Joey Ortiz, the shortstop, rounds things out. He'll bat ninth today for the Crew.
Who was the MVP of the last game for the Crew? Who stood out the most? Let's find out. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Final line for Brandon Woodruff yesterday. 5 innings of work, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 2 homers given up. That number about homers, of the 15 runs allowed by the Brewers this season, 13 have come via the home run. Feels like just a ridiculous amount. But it's almost the exact opposite of how the Brewers won baseball games last year. Giving up a lot of solo shots as well during that. 2 solo homers yesterday given up by Brandon Woodruff. But all in all, stayed healthy, got the victory. 1-0 on the year now for Woody. And he spoke after the game as well for a little bit. Here is Brandon Woodruff, yesterday's MVP of the game.
Often, consistently?
Yeah. Going in against those guys, I just watching them the previous night, they were pretty aggressive early. So I tried to, I just tried to get back to my game and establish the fastball early and move it around a little bit. And, I figured I was going to have to go to the breaking stuff a little bit more than usual, but I kind of held off on it a little bit and used it later in the game and just tried to read swings tonight. That was the biggest thing. So if they're not putting the heater in play, I tend to stay with it unless I'm throwing 89 and 90 right down the middle. Then those usually get hit in the stand. So, but yeah, it was a good night overall for sure.
Maybe you throw the fastball a lot. Have you ever thrown 30 straight without one breaking around?
Did I do that tonight?
That's what it was between the Diaz.
What about
changeup and then the exchange?
No cutters in there? Are you counting cutter at it? Okay.
No breaking a lot.
I don't know. I don't know if I ever have. The cutter kind of adds a new wrinkle to that, but yeah, I mean, look, I lean heavily on that pitch. It's always been my bread and butter my whole career, and since coming back from surgery, I still got some of that life to it. Just at a lesser velocity, which is okay. I mean, I just need to put it in good spots most of the time, and but yeah, I don't know if I've done that even previous years.
You asked you a bunch about, to pitch this game,
Yeah.
or maybe pitching in Nashville tonight.
Yeah.
How vindicating is it to come out and pitch well and win?
I just, if I was going to use bullets, I didn't want to use them in the minor leagues. I was recovering. I'd kind of mentioned that before, and I wanted to be here with the guys. It's a good feeling breaking camp and getting here and just being with everybody and it was just a good feeling for me, and I really wanted to do that. And I with the pitch count I was at, if I couldn't get through 5 innings, then that's on me, as a pitcher. And the game kind of dictated what happened tonight. I was going to go back out for the 6th, but some strain, we started having a longer inning, and then the replay and just a lot of pitching change. So a lot of stuff kind of, changed in that inning, but physically I feel good. So, my goal is my one and only goal this year is being healthy and just being available. And, that's, I would rather throw here than in Nashville. That was important for me.
And you would have been ready for the 6th. You hadn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was good. I threw 78 pitches in Nashville last Wednesday. So that's probably a good gauge. The 80 to 85 mark was, probably right around where I was going to be, but they were aggressive. So I really didn't pay attention to pitch count. I didn't take a look at it really, but I knew it was lower going into the fifth, and they made me work a little bit there in the fourth and fifth. But yeah, I was ready to go.
I know you've done this obviously a lot, and you don't hope for home runs in that sense, but
Yeah.
do you have kind of expectations for yourself just going into your first
I learned this a long time ago. When you're in the zone a lot, I actually think Max Scherzer said this, and I took this from him. I think he might have led the league one year in the National League of giving up the most homers. But his rebuttal to that was, he's in the zone so much that he's attacking so much that, that's part of the game. And that's massive. I mean, you want to be in the zone. It's just staying away from the 2-run, the 3-run home runs, solo shots, whatever. With nobody on, and obviously that put us down, but solo shots aren't going to beat you. We stayed in the game, and then you saw what we did there in the fifth, and then later on in the game. So that doesn't concern me. It's just those pitches I wasn't totally convicted on, and it showed up. And for whatever reason, a hitter can pick that up pretty quick. So,
Woody, now that you guys have gone through a full turn,
Yeah.
what's your early assessment of what this group has?
we got some. I've mentioned this. I've already said this. We've got some guys that's got some unbelievable stuff. It's still early. We're only 5 games in or whatever it is, and a lot of learning to do, including myself. Figuring out about myself and the other guys as well. But I think we've done very well here this first go around. So just learning from each other, seeing how we're going to kind of get through those innings as the season progresses and get deeper into the game and kind of help save that bullpen. That's going to be important. But as of right now, I mean, stuff's incredible from everybody that we throw out there. So it's just trusting stuff and seeing what happens.
There is Brandon Woodruff after the game yesterday. What a guy. I mean, just seems like an awesome dude to get to know and talk to. And as he brings up, he's been impressed with some of the stuff early parts of the season for the Milwaukee Brewers on the pitching side of things. And he plays some sort of role in that as well. Coming up here on the program, still got about 45 minutes until first pitch here. We're going to go up until 12:30, up until the Mason Crosby show with Mitch Nellis. I'll be hanging around for another hour and a half or so to get you ready for Wisconsin Sports Daily that comes up at 2:00. And then immediately after the last pitch, make the switch right back over here. You can stay on. Just listen to Sparky. We're going to actually interrupt him during this time and have the Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show with Tim Allen and myself as well, as we'll be breaking down Game 3 between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Milwaukee Brewers. Jacob Mizorowski on the bump for the second time this season, going up against Drew Rasmussen of the Tampa Bay Rays. In his one game this year, Jacob Mizorowski, 5 innings of work, 2 hits, an earned run. That was the leadoff homer. Really settled in after the Brewers put up 14 runs of support in the 14-2 victory on opening day. Had 3 walks last time around, 11 strikeouts, threw 94 pitches as well. And Jacob Mizorowski, if you don't know his career at American Family Field, he is 4-0 in the 9 games he has pitched for the Milwaukee Brewers with a 3.24 ERA. All right, let's get to the other side of this. We'll check in with the expert, get you the betting odds courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook if you want to get any action on today's game. And then we're going to go through the minor leagues with our Building a Winner feature, and finally some keys to the game to get you ready for game number 3, Brewers Rays. It is the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Time for your fam weather report brought to you by Integrity Exteriors. Cloudy today, a high of 35 degrees in Hales Corners. 33 a low, going to be pretty temperate all day. 17-mile-an-hour winds. Keep an eye out for that out there today. That's your weather report brought to you by Integrity Exteriors.
We're counting down the minutes to the first pitch of today's game. Yes! Who's in the starting lineup?
Come on, son, you got to get out there and take the mound. It's game time.
What does the skipper have to say?
It's an attitude, like you got to be willing to defend. You got to be willing to base run, or you can't play here.
It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook with Tommy Wortz on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Yes, welcome back to the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you, getting you caught up, ready for Game 3, the rubber match between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tampa Bay Rays. Jacob Mizorowski on the bump for the Crew, going up against former Brewer arm Drew Rasmussen of the Tampa Bay Rays. Been on about a half hour here, just about 40 minutes away from first pitch from American Family Field. Let's tell you what the lineup's looking like before first pitch.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Yeah, let's go through the whole lineup again today. Yandy Diaz, the DH, will lead off for Tampa Bay. Jonathan Aranda at first base bats second. Jake Fraley in right field will bat third. Junior Caminero at third base in the cleanup spot for Tampa Bay. Cedric Mullins in center field will bat fifth. Nick Fortes, the catcher, bats sixth. Chandler Simpson in left field batting seventh today, while Ben Williamson is the shortstop batting eighth. Richie Palacios is the second baseman. He will round it out for Tampa Bay. Now for the Milwaukee Brewers, Bryce Terang at second base leads off today. William Contreras is catching, batting second. Christian Yelich is the DH. He bats third. Jake Bowers is at first base. He's cleaning up. Garrett Mitchell in center field will bat fifth. Sal Frelick in right field will bat sixth. Blake Perkins making the start in left field today. He bats seventh for Milwaukee. Rengifo getting the day off. David Hamilton will be at third and bat eighth. Joey Ortiz rounds things out. He's the starting shortstop, batting ninth for the Crew.
At the wall, looking up, see you later.
Let's get the latest on today's odds for the game. What's the best way to go? Let's check in with our expert from the Potawatomi Sportsbook to find out. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Taking a look over at the betting odds, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Brewers favorites on the money line today at minus 152. If you want some plus money, you can take a minus 1.5. We'll get you plus 160. The over-under set at 7 today over at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Now, we're going to make a nice little parlay. Yesterday, Austin Herdina gave us two of a three-leg parlay. Two of them hit. Christian Yelich letting them down on the over 1.5 total bases. However, I'm going with the over in this one of 7 runs. Every time it feels like, you remember when it was Ms. Skeens last year and everyone was like, it's going to be a 2-0 ball game at this point. And they shelled Skeens, absolutely blew them up during that. I think that this is one of those games where the number's just too low to not take. I'll take the over of 7 runs. I'll take Brewers on the money line. They'll improve to 5-1 in my mind. And we got to throw my guy Jake Bowers, who's just on an absolute heater right now. Over 1.5 total bases for Jake Bowers in the contest. If you parlay all three of those together, you get plus 575, courtesy of the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And remember, They have the shuttle services going to and from each and every home game at American Family Field. You could go place a $5 bet on this parlay we just made right here. Over 7 runs, Brewers money line, and Jake Bauers over 1.5 total bases. If that bet hits, you will make $28.75 for that parlay. You could actually get paid to go to each Brewers game. You take the Potawatomi Sportsbook shuttle, or if you want, go grab a drink or something to eat from their great sportsbook with fantastic options, and you get a wristband to and from the game. Plus, once the Brewers win, you get to come back to Potawatomi, celebrate a little bit, have a good time there. Thanks to the Potawatomi Sportsbook for being a part of the leadoff show. One more time, that parlay for the people. It is Brewers money line, the over of 7 runs in this game, and Jake Bauers over 1.5 total bases.
Nobody likes them.
Craig Counsell returning to American Family Field.
We all want to see them lose.
It's not my job to tell people how to feel about something, or even to figure it out. Let people feel how they want to feel, and I'm good with that, and I think it doesn't have to be all positive.
It's time to eye up the enemy for today's game. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Eye on the enemy here, taking a look at the pitching matchup between Drew Rasmussen and Jacob Misiorowski. Well, let's start with the Miz and Tampa Bay's lineup. The only man who has faced him, Ben Williamson. Why has Ben Williamson faced him? Well, he was with the Mariners last year. He got an AB off of him in that time. 0 for 1, however. Everyone else going to be facing the Miz for the first time in their career. That interesting. See what happens with Jacob Misiorowski when he faces Tampa Bay for the first time. See what happens when Yandy Diaz has 102 come at him in the first inning of the game. Could be interesting there. On the other side, the flip side, Drew Rasmussen, a little bit of experience in the lineup. Hamilton, Perkins, and Mitchell, the 3 who have not faced him yet this far. Bryce Terang, 0 for 2. Then the 2 through 4 spot gets a little interesting. Contreras, 1 for 2. Yelich, 1 for 2, but both of those home runs, solo homers. Jake Bauers, 3 for 6 in his career off Drew Rasmussen. He's the only man with multiple hits. Joey Ortiz has a knock, and Sal Frelick looking for his first one. 0 for 3 thus far against Drew Rasmussen in his career. Drew Rasmussen, last start around, he went 5 innings, gave up 1 run on a solo shot, struck out just 2, did not walk anyone. He's going to pound the zone. Had a fantastic season last year in which he finished 9th in Cy Young voting with a 2.76 ERA. 150 innings worth of work last year, a 1.50 ERA plus. That is the Eye on the Enemy report. Now we get into one of my favorite segments.
The key to building a winner in baseball is a strong minor league system. Who are the names we should know? How did they play in their last game? It's time for Building a Winner. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Yes, time for another Building a Winner feature right here on the leadoff show, taking a look around the minor leagues to see what's happening. Yesterday, the only team in action, the Nashville Sounds, they were going up against the Charlotte Knights. They would win 7-3 over the White Sox affiliate, their second win on the season. 2 hits for Stuart Baroa. Tyler Black had a homer in the contest, and he went 2 for 3. Luis Lara picked up a couple more hits. Brock Wilken on top of that, getting a base knock as well, his first hit of the 2026 campaign. Greg Jones, we might see Greg Jones at some point this year just for a fill-in spot. He was with the club in spring training this year. Guy is fast. I mean, this is Brewers baseball to a T, what this guy brings. And I think that it just feels like a guy who comes up at some point this year and makes an appearance at some point. Rob Zastryzny began his rehab assignment yesterday as well for the Nashville Sounds. And it was Shane Drowan to start things off. He went 3 1/3, gave up 2 runs, but struck out 6. Drew Rahm came in through two thirds of an inning to get out of the fourth for him. Logan Henderson was the storyline as well. 3 innings for him. He picked up the victory. He just 1 hit, 5 strikeouts. Zastryzny, 1 inning, 1 hit, and 1 strikeout in his Nashville appearance as well. Definitely positive on the pitching side of things. Looking at some of the other numbers, Jet Williams right now is hitting just 188 right now at AAA. He went 0 for 5 yesterday, struck out 3 times, getting him back and acclimated into some professional baseball. Coming up today, the Nashville Sounds will play Charlotte again. Carlos Rodriguez is on the bump for them. Wisconsin Timber Rattlers season kicks off tomorrow. If you have some time, they're going to be in Appleton. Bryce Message going to start things for them. Robert Gasser on the bump for Nashville. And then the rest of it all kind of comes on Friday, April 3rd. The Wilson Warbirds, that is the new low A affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers as they've rebranded from the Carolina Mudcats. And the Biloxi Shuckers will get their shot against the Rocket City Trash Pandas. I mean, just some great names you're going to hear all season long in regards to the minor leagues. But yeah, I'm excited for it. We're all ready for minor league baseball. A bunch of great prospects to look at now for the Milwaukee Brewers as you're going to see a bunch of them. You're going to see a bunch of them all season long. I'm certain of that. And you're going to hear about it on this show. News and note here that I wanted to get to. Brewers Community Foundation announcing their 26th drive for charity events to all that may concern. Today, the schedule for the 2026 Drive for Charity events were presented by the BCF Leadership Council. The Drive for Charity series donations that support nonprofit organizations in the greater Milwaukee area. The first Drive for Charity event in partnership with WTMJ will take place on April 9th to 12th at American Family Field. Fans are invited to bring pet supplies or a donation of $10 to benefit the Wisconsin Humane Society. So that's in about 10 days or 8 days here next week on Thursday is when those start to kick off. Some other dates to look at. May 22nd through 24th is new socks. Peanut butter from June 12th to June 14th. August 7th through 9th is going to be school supplies. You'll remember that. And then new winter hats, mittens, and scarves. The last series of the year, September 25th through 27th. So kudos to the Brewers Community Foundation announcing their drive for charity events coming up in 2026. Today, however, it is game 3 against the Tampa Bay Rays for the Milwaukee Brewers. And now Jacob Mizorowski is going to be on the bump. He turns 24 on Friday, by the way. There's a couple other things I want to bring up in regards to the Milwaukee Brewers that might jinx things, but it has been a trend through 5 games right now. Number one, the Brewers have stolen 13 total bases through the first 5 games of the season. That is a franchise record. And the previous record was in 2024 when they stole 11 in those first 5 games. 13 for 14 in those stolen base attempts. And that leads the major leagues by 5. The Rockies have 8. Remember, the Brewers got 7 in the one game against Reese McGuire alone. And another thing I wanted to bring up is that the Brewers have yet to commit an error through the first 5 games of the season, which also ties a franchise record for most games into a season without an error. They also went 5 straight games without a miscue, it says here in the game notes, in 2000. So we'll see how that pans out. And if the Brewers, like I said, I might have just jinxed it. They've been playing a pretty clean defense right now and looking to continue that. It's a common theme and a trend with this Milwaukee Brewers team. All right, no Pat Murphy today. He does not speak Wednesday mornings for day games, so won't be able to hear from the skipper. That's totally all right. We'll get right back to it on Friday. Remember, after the game today, we will have the Potawatomi Sportsbook postgame show with Tim Allen and myself as we'll be breaking it down here for a couple of hours on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Coming up immediately after this show, it will be the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. Very excited to get to that program all the way up until 2 o'clock. And then it's Wisconsin Sports Daily until the end of the ball game today as we will continue our Brewers coverage on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. On the other side, let's get to the keys to the game for Milwaukee in Game 3. Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Looking up, and it is gone.
It's almost time for the first pitch. Let's see who's in today's starting lineups. Brought to you by Lakeland University. Experience it your way. Visit lakeland.edu. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back to the leadoff show. Tommy Wortz here with you live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. One more time, the lineup before we get out of here. Leading off for the Brewers, Bryce Terang at second base. William Contreras will bat second. He is catching. Christian Yelich is the DH. He bats third. Jake Bauers at first base will bat fourth today. Garrett Mitchell in center field will bat fifth. Sal Frelick in right field will bat sixth. Blake Perkins in left field bats seventh today. David Hamilton at third base will bat eighth. Rounding things out, the shortstop, Joey Ortiz, bats ninth today.
How does the crew win today's game? Who needs to step up? Let's find out with the keys to the game. It's the leadoff show powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Keys to the game, how we always end things here on the leadoff show. And joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. But he's coming up here for another hour and a half with me as well on the Mason Crosby Show. It is Mitch Thunder Nellis live from 30A, the Panhandle. If you know, you know. Maybe I'm surprised you're not at Pickles right now, to be honest.
Pickles is on the docket today.
Okay.
And so we had a little bit later of a brunch at Black Bear Bread and Bakery. So I think Pickles right after the show, 2:00. Smash burgers, grilled chicken, shakes, all the good stuff.
Well, we'll take you all the way up until first pitch because we can do that when we're in the middle of our lineup today. So we'll go till 12:40 and we'll just talk some Brewers. But I want to start with keys to the game, at least here, Mitch. Yesterday was great for Brandon Woodruff and the offense coming to life after being no hit through first 4 innings of the game yesterday. Looking at this today, what are you looking at specifically for this Brewers team? What's something you might just be keeping a closer eye on that you think is key to a victory for the crew?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a key to a victory, but I think we're all keeping an eye on CB Buckner, right?
Oh my gosh.
He's behind the plate today, right?
Yep.
So I think we all, and I know his last game behind the plate was that Reds game where he was overruled 6 times, including twice on punch outs of Suarez and some brutal calls. He had the one that was like the diagonal 2.4 inches.
Yeah.
So it was low and outside.
Yeah.
So we'll, that's not a key to the game, obviously, but we'll be keeping an eye on that. I would love not to give up a home run in the top of the first. I don't know that that's a key to a game. The Brewers are 4-1. They've done it 3 times. So it's not really a key, but I would just like not to give up a home run in the top of the first.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is off-putting right away when the leadoff guy is hitting a homer. And yesterday, even Woodruff, Yandy Diaz has the long foul ball, and I'm thinking, oh my God, they just did it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then he got him a strikeout, and I was like, all right, sweet, we made it through it. And the next guy up, Aranda, homer, a solo homer in the first inning. What the hell is going on with it? But I read a stat off earlier in the show, Mitch. 13 of the 15 runs that have been scored against this Brewers pitching staff have come from home runs. Like, that's the only way people are scoring on this team right now.
It really is. And not that we want first inning or leadoff home runs, but the silver lining to those home runs we can all agree on, Tommy, is for the most part, those are solo home runs. Solo home runs are a lot different than 3-run bombs. A team puts up a crooked number. That feels a lot worse, especially in the first inning. A team hits a solo home run. Yeah, it sucks. You're down 1-0, but this team's going to score more than 1 run. They scored. The loss was the game they didn't score in. Every other game, they're scoring runs. They're stringing together those hits. And so I can live with solo home runs. I think we all can. And if you ask the pitchers, I'm sure they'd say the same thing. Like, I don't want to give up any home runs, but if I'm going to give up a home run, it's going to be a solo shot. Like, those crooked numbers hurt.
Yeah, Mitch Thunder Nellis joining us here on the leadoff show. We're going to go all the way up until first pitch instead of till 12:30 today. We're just talking Brewers baseball now, some keys to the game. Another thing I wanted to bring up with you, Mitch, Bryce Terang is just really good at baseball. 5-game hitting streak to start the year. He's hitting 400, has an on-base percentage of 478 right now. Is he now the standard for the Brewers this year? Is he the piece?
Ooh.
Is he the X factor? Is he Is he the best player on the Milwaukee Brewers right now in your mind? After a great WBC with Team USA and translating that into regular season success, is it still too early for you to say that, or is this maybe foreshadowing for 2026 for the Brewers?
Yeah, I mean, I think that anything this season is too early, right? I mean, sitting at brunch this morning with my nephew, who's a diehard Red Sox fan, and he said, "What's wrong with the Red Sox?" And I said, "Listen, they're 1-4. They're not playing well, but it's 5 games. So I'm not ready to make any proclamations 5 games in. I think Bill Contreras is still going to have a big say about who the key to this offense and defensively, the two of them work hand in hand together in my mind. But Bryce Terang is becoming more and more of a household name outside of Wisconsin. Like, we all knew about him 2 years ago. We really knew about him last year. He started getting some notoriety. Obviously, the World Baseball Classic helped. But now I think around the country, people are paying attention to what Bryce Terang's doing. And what is it, 20 games or 22 games that he has to get to
20
so
games.
you get your tattoo?
Mm-hmm.
20 games. Okay, so he's a quarter of the way there. I've got him in my parlay today. By the way, bad initial Mason Crosby parlay yesterday.
Oh man, that was rough.
Yeah.
Brutal. 0 for 3.
0 for 3.
Yeah. The Joey Ortiz batting ninth is probably not smart, but I was trying to have faith in my boy. I was trying to have faith in him.
All right. You're going to hate this, but I've got Terang, Bowers, Contreras, and Yelich with a hit. I think they all get a knock. It's like 4.5 to 1. So I like my odds on that one.
Well, I did a parlay in the last segment of the program here from the Potawatomi Sportsbook. The Brewers minus 152 on the money line. The over-under is set at 7 today. I just think that number is too low because this always happens in these pitching matchups and the rubber match.
It's too low.
It's way too low. And Jake Bauers over 1.5 total bases. Like, all he needs is a double in this one, or 2 singles, or a homer. Yeah, I'm all in on that. And that pays plus 575.
Wait, Tommy, like, I hear you on the 2 singles of the double, but we all know Bowers is going yard today. I mean, come on.
Come on.
It was a day game. It just feels right.
He's batting cleanup today. I'm excited for it today.
I love that.
How are you feeling about this bottom part of the lineup, specifically because Sal Frelick has been struggling to start the season a little bit. Garrett Mitchell's batting 5th today because of some of the off days around, and then that leaves Perkins, Hamilton, Ortiz, left field, third base, shortstop batting 7, 8, 9 today.
Yeah, it's a little rough today. You started the segment by going over the starting lineup, and you got through like 4. And then Garrett Mitchell's 5, right? And I love Garrett Mitchell, but I know that Garrett Mitchell isn't as good as we'd like him to be. But you named those first 4 guys, and I'm like, man, they're going to score 100 runs today.
Mm-hmm.
And then you named the bottom 4, and I'm like, they're not going to get a hit today. I'm not as on board with David Hamilton as I think you are. I think he brings energy to the lineup. I do want to see if Rengifo can be more of a constant presence there.
He has gotten a little unlucky to start the year too.
He has. Yeah, I agree. But I think Frelick comes around. Ortiz has been hitting well. Like, I think what we have to focus on when we get, they talk about clusters in batting orders, and the first 4 of the cluster today for the Brewers is fantastic. The bottom of the order, maybe not as good. I think as we're watching this game today, we have to watch for quality at bats, and it might not amount to hits. Hopefully it amounts to walks or getting on base. But when you go from Mitchell and Hamilton and Perkins and Frelick and Ortiz, like, I just want quality at bats from those guys. I want those guys seeing 7 pitches in an at bat here and there. Like, you go down swinging on the first or second pitch. You're not wearing out the Rasmussen. You're not wearing out the pitchers. You're not getting deep into the count. I think especially those 5, that cluster has to work the pitcher out.
And at what point are we going to start having a conversation about Brandon Lockridge being in the lineup every day too? I know there's a righty on the mound today, but I mean, it feels like Garrett Mitchell and Blake Perkins, like they could be hanging on a thread, competing for another outfield spot. I would love to see more of Brandon Lockridge. He's got a hit in his 4 games in each of those as well this season too. And he broke camp over Blake Perkins to start the year.
Yes, he did.
It was just the Churio injury that led to both of them being on the opening day roster.
Yeah, that's absolutely a great point. And I think, even a week in, it's easy to forget that. Oh, yeah, Perkins is part of the team and Mitchell's part of the team. No, Perkins was sent down. They want Mitchell to happen. I want Mitchell to happen. We know he has the physical skills to get it done. We just don't know if he's mentally as strong as he needs to be right now. And that's kind of fair. Like, he's had the injury issues. He doesn't want to get hurt again. My buddy Crawdaddy just shot me a text. He's listening on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. He says, my key to the game is Garrett Mitchell getting a base hit. I think he has struck out 4 times in a row now, and it hasn't been pretty. And listen, if they get a base hit, even a base hit in his first at bat, like that I feel like that changes the whole energy of this team. If Garrett Mitchell comes up in the bottom of the first with a man or 2 on, and he can come through with a base hit, like what was it, opening day where he had a 2-run single?
Mm-hmm.
Or was it opening day or day 2? One of those.
Yes.
One of those. Yeah. If he could do that again in the first inning, man, that just changes the whole complexion of the team, but also the energy. Like that, everybody gets fired up when that happens.
I'll give you one chance here to reverse it. A buy or sell on the Brewers hitting 185 homers this year as a team.
I'm still selling.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they don't have Vaughn or Churio now. Vaughn will be back mid-May, hopefully mid-April for Jackson Churio. Late April is also in there. But once they get those 2 guys back, and they have found pop in other guys like Gary Sanchez and Jake Bowers at the beginning of this season. Plus, Bryce Terang still hasn't cracked one yet, even though he continues to get an extra base hit virtually every game he plays in. Contreras has shown his pop as well during this stretch now for the Brewers. I do think there is pop in this lineup. It's just had to be exposed a little bit at the beginning part of this year.
I mean, at only 7 home runs, 5 games in, they're tied for 7th in Major League Baseball. So they've started out well. The LA Angels, by the way, lead Major League Baseball with 10 home runs. They are raking, but does it matter? Like, do the LA Angels of Anaheim exist?
It matters today, and it did yesterday. They're playing the Cubs.
Oh, because they're playing the Cubs.
Yeah, it matters.
Right, but and Trout's got a couple home runs, but it's like, man, talk about thank God we're not Angels fans. That's just a mess of a franchise and has been for a long time. Like, they had Ohtani, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah,
am I wrong?
They did have Ohtani.
Right.
Yeah.
They had Ohtani and Trout on the same team and still never made the playoffs.
No.
That's crazy,
no.
Tommy.
Also, you say they were 7th. They're 7th right now, the Brewers. Just
tied for 7th, yes.
Tied for 7th in Major League Baseball. So the Red Sox were 15th last year in Major League Baseball, and they hit 186 home runs. The 7th team was the Athletics, and they hit 219.
They were 7th?
They were 7th in baseball last year in homers.
Okay, all right.
At the end of 2025.
It's a good place to be.
Good pace so far. Good pace.
It's a good start, and it's the start we wanted. And again, we talked about this on the show. It's the Yankees, how to come out of the way they have, and that you've seen this stat. How the Brewers are ridiculous in interleague play. Like, they have the best record ever, basically.
Yeah.
In interleague play.
I read it off earlier.
Or whatever it is.
Since 2022, the Brewers are 106-59 in interleague play. They're the Dodgers.
I mean,
they're just the Dodgers against silly. The AL right now. All right, let's make a prediction here, and then we'll probably talk some more Brewers on the Mason Crosby show, but it'll officially start after this break. Jacob Mizorowski, Drew Rasmussen on the bump. What's your final predictions for today? Whether you want to throw a player is going to do something or the final score, just something that you think you're going to see today between Brewers and Rays, the rubber match.
Terang gets his first home run of the year today. And because I love you, I actually think it might go under, but because I love you, I'm going to go 5-3 Brewers.
CB Buckner over under 7.5 ABS challenges.
That's a great number. I'm going to go under, but I don't feel good about it. The daylight I feel like it's going to be even harder for him. Like, he can't see. And if there's a shadow there, like, is it like, what's he? He's just a mess.
There was like an overlay on Twitter of like every ABS pitch that has been challenged. And so you can't see anything because it's just a bunch of white balls all going and a bunch of different pitchers going. And someone quoted it and was like, this is just what CB Buckner sees 100% of the time.
That's amazing. I love that.
That's great. I'm going to take the over in this one. I'll say the Brewers win this one 6-3. They got to score 4 to win a game anyway.
Okay.
And I think Miz, I think he gets through his 5 innings. They kind of need it out of him. They just continue to get 5 innings. They're going to make sure that every single relief
6 strikeouts.
pitcher, 6. Oh, he'll go more than
6
that.
strikeouts. Only 6. I think he's going to pitch to contact today. I think he's going to get some quick outs.
All right. Will he hit 102?
Yeah. It's a day game. I think he gets jacked up. Yeah, I think he gets there.
All right, we'll see. That's been it for the leadoff show. After the last pitch, don't forget, make the switch. Potawatomi Sportsbook post-game show. Tim Allen and me breaking down Brewers Game 3, and then take you into the off day tomorrow. So there's an off day every week for like 2 months to start the year, Mitch.
I know. Welcome to April, bro. That's how April rolls.
Very weird. Very weird.
We don't need it in Milwaukee, but other it could rain in Cleveland for 10 straight days.
Yeah,
so.
I guess that makes sense. Well, Mitch, I'll see you in 5 minutes here as we get ready for the Mason Crosby show, and we'll be live until 2 o'clock today. And then Steve Sparky Pfeiffer will take you up until post game. It's going to be a great rest of your day. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the leadoff show. First pitch coming up, 12:40. Milwaukee Brewers, Tampa Bay Rays, Game 3. Jacob Mizorowski, Drew Rasmussen. It's been the leadoff show live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. And don't forget, send them home.